Hello, you're watching my YouTube channel. I'm your host, Kamran. Today we have invited a guest in this video, and I'm gonna discuss her life, her visions, her goals, and most importantly, her field. Hi, and welcome. We are delighted to have Jessica Campbell here today. Jessica, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you, Cameron. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you so much for asking me to do this interview. I really appreciate it.
Hey, Jessica, but to start this interview properly, could you please tell us what inspired you to pursue a career as an accent reduction, public speaking, and American accent coach for actors as well? And perhaps definitely share a bit about your journey, which helps you to lead up to your current role.
Okay, so I'll start with my journey since that goes chronologically. After I graduated from college with a degree in psychology, with which you can do nothing, I went to France, and because I grew up as a teenager, I went to France and moved there for about 4 years, and I became a tour director or
Mhm.
a tour escort where it's not like a tour guide where you're with them for a few hours. You actually get on the motor coach or the bus with them and stay with them for a week or 2 weeks, and you're in the hotel with them and you're giving them history and you're public speaking. You're basically speaking in public all the time because you're speaking to a group of people, usually 50. And then I got tired of traveling all the time after 20 years, and I stopped and I became a reduction coach. And I've always loved languages, but I also love accents. And I'm always listening for accents and seeing if I can tell where someone is from and that kind of thing. And so I just started about 6 years ago becoming an accent coach. And then I have regular students. I have students that want public speaking with an accent coach so that they can correct their English as they're learning to speak in public. And I also have actors, of course, who want an American accent.
Okay, could you please tell us what is reduction?
Okay, so you're never going to not have an accent. And accents are charming and Americans love them, but you want to be understood. You don't want people to be constantly saying, "Can you repeat that? What's that again?" Or you don't want to be viewed as someone from a different country. You just want to be viewed as a coworker. And I think it's really frustrating for people that have a PhD or they're a CEO in business and they're still not really treated that well because they have an accent.
Mm,
And that unfortunately does happen.
mm.
But what was the rest of your question? I'm sorry.
I was asking about the reduction. What is reduction?
The reduction.
So,
So basically, let's say you say the word provide
mm,
and you say it and go ahead and say the word.
why,
Okay, so your R is off. So you can't really understand that word. So you want to say provide, and you want your R to be correct. And for that, your tongue has to be in the middle of your mouth, not touching the roof of your mouth, not touching anything. Our American R is really flat. So I would get you to say provide,
why,
provide. Don't just have your tongue right in the middle of your mouth. Provide.
why? Is it better?
Okay, that's better. That's better. And so by reducing that accent on the R, or let's say on the V's, on the W's, on the TH's, you're just more easy to understand. And people can have regular conversations with you and not be constantly trying to understand what you're saying and that kind of thing.
This is called reduction in a sentence.
No, it's not all reduction. There's the accent with working on the vowels and the consonants, but then there's teaching you intonation. If you say, I want to go home now, you're very monotone. What you want to be saying is something like, I want to go home now. You want to have excitement in your voice. You know, in movies, every 8 seconds, they change the vision from one camera to another to keep your attention. It actually happens, and once you notice it, it'll drive you crazy. But it's the same with speaking. You want to, if you're monotone, there's nothing to grab the person's attention. So I want to go home now. The person will listen and tune into me.
Mm,
Okay, and there's also linking. And that's one reason why public speaking and breathing correctly is so important because hold on, let me take a drink of water. I'm sorry, I'm so thirsty today. And linking means, let's say you're saying the word on off, the two words on off. So off becomes noth because there's a consonant and a vowel on off, in out. Out becomes nout, in out. If you want to say I'm okay, I'm okay. Okay becomes mokay. But if you want to say something along the lines of um, I'm on it, okay? All those words link to one another, and you have to say them all in one breath. I'm on it, okay? Not you're not because you're not saying I'm on it, okay? When you say I'm on it, okay, you sound much more natural, much more fluid and smooth. And so that leads me to public speaking and the breathing. And so you have to be able to breathe well to speak American English well.
And what is the best practice to improve American accent if you suggest the people who will watch this interview and listen this? So a person should have a best listening skill. A person should have a best fluency when he speaks. A person should have a best accent when he speaks. So what do you suggest to the people in Pakistan who are working on their accent? Because definitely they want to do a job in American companies. They pay well, they can groom the people, right? So what do you suggest? I'm also
One of the best ways, one of the things that I give out as homework is called shadowing. And it's different people and just Google shadowing American accent. Make sure you put American accent, otherwise you'll get a lot of British. And they just read along and you repeat after them. They read a sentence, you repeat. They read a sentence, you repeat. And it's really excellent practice because they've got the intonation in there and they're telling you where the intonation is and the linking and it gets you used to speaking in a more smooth manner. So shadowing is one, and the other is just to Google American accent websites, and you'll find all kinds of sites that do pronunciation, that have videos that you can watch so you can hear them, or have the words on with an audio so that you can listen, or even Google. I also give out listening homework, so you can Google listening American accent, and you'll get um, people will talk together, and then you'll have to answer questions about what they said. So that's really handy too. A lot of people like that.
shadowing American accent. We should put this
Right.
on Google or a YouTube, so we can watch the videos, and we have to repeat that sentence in 3 times, and it will help us to improve American accent. Am I right?
That's right.
That's where were you actually? Today I have got this tip from your side. I have been practicing to improve my accent or fluency as well. Okay, well, how about the fluency? If someone wants to improve his fluency in English, so what tip you give to them?
Okay, I would suggest if they can't afford an accent teacher, then I would, because they're usually more expensive than a regular ESL teacher. I would recommend just what I said, Google ESL websites. There's places like Rachel's English, which is fantastic, and also Elemental English, which is fantastic, although they're down right now. I think they're coming back up. And you'll just get a lot of different sites that just what you want is just the pronunciation. So when you Google, you want to do pronunciation American accent. And then if you want to put exercises afterwards, that will give you a video or a website that actually has you reading through. And sometimes they're very hard to find, but sometimes you can record your own voice and listen to it. And that's a great idea. Most people do not like to do that. But recording your own voice and listening back to it really wakes a lot of people up as to how their accent sounds.
It's my practice in a daily routine because I take interviews, I record interviews from different people like you. And after uploading that, I pause this interview and listen my voice actually what I was speaking, where should I have to pause, where was the stress of the word. So am the keen observer of actually I'm speaking style what I'm speaking in a minute.
I'm sorry, what was the last bit?
I'm saying that I am the keen observer on my action that after uploading the interview, I observe the things that were mistakes I have in that interview.
Oh yeah.
So
That's really valuable to be able to do that, to look at yourself giving an interview and to go through it and be honest with yourself. That's great. And
I,
people can do this on their own just by recording themselves in a video.
I get credits.
What's that?
Okay, let's move on. Jessica,
Okay.
what techniques do you find most effective for helping actors achieve a convincing American accent? And how do you tailor these methods to individual needs?
Okay. So with the it depends. You've got people coming in with as English as a second language students, and then you've got the British and the Australians and the South Africans coming in who want to learn an American accent. One thing that I can tell all of them is that your pronunciation of an American sentence, because let's say I want to go home now. We'll use that same I want to go home now. I want to go home now. That's how they would say it. But that's not how an American says it. An American says, I want to go home now. We go down at the end of our sentences. Almost every language in the world goes up at the end of the sentence. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, definitely.
Even if you listen to the British and Australians, they go up at the end. How are you doing, mate? And to us, when you say something like that, like I want to go home now, it sounds like a question. So we think that the person talking to us is asking us questions and maybe is confused whether they're not. They're making statements, but they're not going down at the end of a sentence. So we don't know that it's not a question because we only go up on yes or no questions or excitement. I'm oh wow, that's great, that kind of thing.
Okay, are you okay? Where are you going? These are the sentences you speak.
Well, I would give a whole bunch of different sentences for them to read. And I make each class for each individual person. So a class for, let's say, someone from Pakistan would have more R's, the V's and W's, the TH's usually, because that's such a hard thing to say to get your tongue between your teeth, or at least touching your teeth, and then to say other sentences. Like if you think of the word truth, or the truth, you're saying two THs, the truth. It's hard to get your tongue back there. And actually, people that study with me, after an hour, their jaws hurt, their tongues hurt
I
because it's much more active. We move our mouths much more. If you say the word apple, look how far I'm opening my mouth. Apple. You can't say it apple.
apple,
Apple. Open your mouth.
apple.
There you go. That's the A.
All right. When we are improving our accent and we want to improve the accent and fluency in English, definitely it is actually a communication skills, right? So
Hmm.
if I practice or someone practice tongue twisters matters.
Yes. Tongue twisters are great to practice because it's really making your tongue move around all the different vowels and consonants. And if you get maybe memorized or just have a piece of paper with 10 tongue twisters, and you can even look for tongue twisters with the letter R or with the letter S, for example, so that you can really work on what your specific concern is. And then if you repeat them in the morning, you're making coffee and you're saying, Sally sells seashells down by the seashore. That's great. That's
Was
fantastic. If you
that
the more you practice, the faster you,
was not very.
huh?
She sells by
I
the
didn't Sally sells seashells down by the seashore.
yeah. And Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy had it was not very fuzzy, was it?
That's good. That's pretty good. How about Peter picked a peck of pickle pipers? How many peppers? Sorry, I messed it up. Peppers did Peter Piper pick?
I thought of thinking of thanking you. I thought of thinking,
Oh,
right? This is a
okay. When you say the TH, is your tongue touching your teeth? or in between your teeth.
I'm saying the right accent or not? I thought of thinking of thanking
No,
you.
you've got to get it has to be more of the th sound. You're saying more of a T sound, which means your tongue is up too high in your mouth. You want to bring it down so it's touching between your teeth.
Okay. Now you are in my contact list, so I will definitely take a lesson from apply this. Okay, let's move on. Uh,
Okay.
Question is that what are some common challenges actors face when working on their accents?
Okay. So I talked about the going up at the end of a sentence, but there's also slang. If it's let's say if it's a Australian. They say good day, mate. We wouldn't say anything like that. We'd say hi, bud, hi, friend. Or you wouldn't really say hi, friend, but you instead of the word mate, you could use the word friend, but you could also use the word bro, dude, bud, buddy. So they have to change
Do you suggest them?
their whole slang. Hmm? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that for some reason.
Do you suggest them to practice tongue twisters?
Yes, I do. I suggest it to practice tongue twisters, and if you can get someone reading tongue twisters on on a video, and then you can follow along, that's great too.
How is that? Can you share a demo?
So, in other words, you look for a video of tongue twisters.
Okay. Mhm. All right. Jessica, in your experience, how does mastering an accent influence an actor's overall performance and character portrayal?
Okay, so if an actor isn't able to be understood, then they're not going to get the audition. And also, what happens is before they even go to the audition, the actor that comes to me has often been too embarrassed of his accent or too just lacks confidence that he or she can do it. So what I do is they're often in acting school, and if they are, they can bring their own scripts to class, or if not, I have scripts from famous movies that they can read, like Aaron Brockovich or um, let's see, Clueless, The Matrix. There's a whole bunch, and they can we go over their scripts line by line. And when they make a mistake, we go back and correct it. I explain the mistake, and I explain why, they can't say the word clueless. Clueless. They're not pronouncing the L's correctly or something like that. So that's one of the best ways to do it. And then I give them homework that they can practice in the morning. That what a tongue twisters or even vocal exercises, A-E-I-O-U or A-E-I-O-U, so that you can practice the vowels.
Hmm, this is a good thing I've come to know right now. AEIOU, right?
Right. That's the long vowel. So those are long. A-E-I-O-U. If you say the word bead, it's long. Now, short vowel, o, u. That's harder.
O.
That's right. And those are really important because that's what most people get wrong, the short vowels. They say them like long vowels. So if you're saying bid, but you're saying it like bead, it sounds like bead. So you want to say bid, short, bid, bed, cat, cat.
Hmm, that's great. Okay, Jessica, if you find some time to entertain, so what do you do for fun?
Let's see. Well, I love to read, so that I'm always reading. But I like to go out. I like to watch football, American football. I like to watch soccer too, and movies, especially science fiction movies, superhero movies. I love those. I go jet skiing because I live in Florida. So take the jet ski out on the ocean. I live on the Atlantic Ocean, and go out on boats, go sailing, that type of thing.
And what is the memorable day of your life so far, if you could share it?
What? I'm sorry that you kind of blanked out there.
I'm asking about your memorable moment of your life so far, if is it shareable.
I'm sorry. I'm just for some reason it's breaking up now and I'm just not hearing you.
Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yeah, okay, that's better. No, that's better.
Okay. I'm asking about your memorable moment in the life so far. If you want to share any moment with us.
My memory of a moment in the life.
Memorable moment.
What a memorable moment. Okay. Um, let's see. There's so many. I think going on a cruise with my three girlfriends,
Mm.
and we've known each other. One's my sister. One I've known since I was 5 years old, and the other I've known for about 10 years. And we went on a cruise to the Caribbean. We got it early, so we got it cheap, and we had a blast. We had so much fun.
Mm. Okay. That's a good memory, right?
Yeah, that's a great memory.
Okay. How do you integrate public speaking skills into your coaching? And why do you believe
Okay.
these skills are essential for actors?
Okay, so I was talking about linking before. I'm on it, okay, where you say everything in one long breath. Well, public speaking involves your diaphragm, which is right here and then down further, sort of between your rib cage, right, like right where your rib cage is. And you want to be breathing from there and not from your throat or from your face. If you breathe from your throat, if you get a sore throat after talking too much, you're breathing from your throat, and you can do something to stop that. If you breathe from your face or your mask, your voice will sound more nasal because you're breathing from your nose.
Mhm.
So it gets that sort of upper sound from up here, which you don't want. What you want is the sound to come from your belly, the breath to come all the way down from your belly. So you should actually see your belly go in and then you breathe out. And that's hard to do because those are deep breaths. But if you're ever panicking about something, or you have to go on stage, or you have to be in the public for some reason, three of those deep breaths will calm you right down, lower your blood pressure. And when you breathe deeply, instead of speaking, like, okay, let me give you two examples. There's this, someone's talking like this, and they say, I want to go home now. Now you put your back, your shoulders back, your arms back. Your head, you want it to be straight and your chin a little bit up. And you say, I want to go home now. And it sounds much better. It sounds deeper and it sounds more clear and you look better. I mean, you for body language reasons, you simply look better doing it that way. But also when the deeper voices are, the more people pay attention to them. So women or men that speak with a high voice or children have a hard time being heard sometimes because of that. So especially with women who speak with a high voice like this, people just don't really listen to it. They sort of just don't really hear it. But you want to speak with a deeper voice where people will turn and pay attention to you. So I teach them how to do breathing exercises and give them exercises, usually on YouTube, or sometimes I just write them out if it's easier and for them to do at home. And then she would come into class and we would do the breathing and read sentences, breathing and read sentences.
That's
Okay.
right. Can you share a success story from your coaching practice that highlights the transformation an actor has experienced through your training?
Sure. I had a girl from India and she really wanted to do acting. She was in an acting class, but she had no confidence in her English, which was pretty good. I'd put the accent on an 8 out of 10 scale. So you could mostly understand her, but there were certain words where you had no idea what she was saying. And uh, she was also lacking confidence, just the confidence to go to an audition because of her accent. And that's one of the problems with having an accent is people often lack confidence in English because of that and don't speak. They don't speak at meetings, they don't speak out. So we basically went through her scripts First we started with my scripts, and then when she began to get scripts, we read her scripts, and she would read them. And first she'd just go over and try to get the pronunciation right, just reading it basically monotone. And then she would read it again, and I'd have her put intonation in. Okay, so I'm going to my house, and I don't know what's waiting for me there, and I'm a little bit scared, that kind of thing. So up and down of your voice, so you can keep people's attention. And then we would work on linking so that she's not saying, I'm on it, okay. She's saying, I'm on it, okay. She's linking all of her words and sounding nice and smooth. And she began to go to auditions, and she's got a commercial that she's doing nationally. And she has a play, a show. I think it's off Broadway, but it's a show that she's doing in April. So yeah,
Ah, okay. And last question is that if you have to rate on my accent out of 10, by your
I
rate,
would give it a
you are
I
gonna
would give it a set.
in a neutral way so that I can improve it.
Okay, I would rate your accent as a 7 out of 10. I think you've got a great grasp of the English language, so your English is advanced, and that really helps because that means that you know the words and that you're mispronouncing. When your English isn't advanced and you don't even know what the word means or what it is, then it's a lot more difficult. And I would do an assessment of you, which is free. I always offer a free assessment for 30 minutes before my classes, which cost $75 an hour. But if any of your listeners want to sign up, I would give it to them for the special your rate of 65, if that helps. I don't know if it does. But I have an assessment at first, and we go over. I have you read certain letters, um, knowing that you're from Pakistan. I would make it more geared towards the R sounds, the V's, the W's, the TH's, and then all the vowels, because everyone mispronounces the vowels.
Okay, Jessica, thank you so much for joining us today. It was wonderful having you here and learning from your experiences. But before I wrap up, is there anything you'd like to share with our audience or any message you would like to leave them with?
Yes, don't let thinking that you have an accent prevent you from speaking English. The only way you're going to get better, especially if you don't have a lot of access to websites and a computer, for example, you've probably got a phone, so that really helps. But speaking to other people in English, if you can't find an American, if you can find a friend that wants to practice too, is invaluable. It's so good because you're speaking off the top of your head. In fact, part of my lesson is always just us talking so that I can hear you naturally. Not when you're trying to speak very carefully in the class, but how you speak when you're just talking, chatting with someone. So get out there and speak, and don't let the accent stop you, because it'll just prevent you from moving ahead in your job, or it'll prevent you from making friends, and will prevent you from getting a job.
That's great.
Okay.
Lovely piece of advice you have given to us, and definitely people will watch this interview. And if they apply these strategies we have shared in this podcast, in this interview, and it will gonna help them to improve their accent, fluency, and pronunciation as well. How to speak in front of the public and how to go for an interview as well, right? Any message or any
Right.
suggestion for me, Jessica?
Any what?
Any message or any suggestion for me?
For you, I would do shadowing if I was you, because your accent, I mean, your English is excellent enough to follow along even complicated shadowing, because there's beginner, intermediate, and advanced shadowing, and I think you would start at advanced. People that are lower than a 7 would probably be intermediate shadowing. So I think that would be excellent for you, because you'd be hearing the American accent, then repeating it, hearing it, then repeating it. And also, some of the pronunciation websites would be great for you, because you need to work. I haven't done an assessment of you, but you need to work on your TH, your R, your V's, your W's, and your vowels, A, E, I, O, and U, the short ones.
Mm. A, E, O, U. Right?
There you go. There you go. That's great.
Hey, Jessica, thank you so much once again for your time, for your participation. And I believe I'll invite you for another episode with different questions on a different topic, which will help the people who do not have access directly to you, but they can in touch with you after watching this podcast. Thank you so much once again, Jessica.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been a delight to, and it's been great getting to know you too.
Have a nice day. Have a lovely day. Take care.
Okay, you have a lovely day too.
Take care.
Bye
Goodbye.
bye.